Welcome, everybody. So, this is how to stop procrastinating, how to start playing your games, how to start chipping away at your backlog. Look, there are just way too many games. Maybe that's not your issue. Maybe you just don't have enough time to play the ones that you do want to play. Maybe another thing is you have the time and you just end up not using it wisely. If you're like me, then there have been many nights after a long day of work where you sit in front of your computer, and even though you want to play, or maybe you even just want to watch a movie or do something, for whatever reason, it seems like too tall of an order, too big of a task. And so you pop open YouTube and you just lose 2 hours on YouTube. And that's pretty much it for your free time. Then you got to start getting ready for bed, the day's over, and who knows if you'll get to play it the next day. Now, a lot of this advice and the stuff I'm going to be talking about in the upcoming minutes, it's not unique to gaming. If you have issues with other hobbies and other interests that you want to put more time into, some of what I'm going to say can apply to you, especially when it comes to how to stop procrastinating. These are things, unfortunately, that I didn't really apply when I was a student, so I had many issues with procrastination back then. But as I've gotten a little bit older, my life has changed. Now work is the main priority, but I've also got my dog, and there's still things that I want to do. In fact, I think now more than ever, I have more things that I want to do compared to any other point in my life. Way more interests that I want to research and study on, way more hobbies that I want to explore and try to just increase my skills. Can I go from average to good at the things that I do? And then obviously the games that I play. Can I just start knocking off some of these games that have been waiting around for me forever? So I'm going to give 3 main tips for this one. And the first one is the most general or generic. It is obviously to prioritize. That's not something that I had to tell you. I think if you all spend a few minutes thinking about how can you get more things done, you're going to come up with prioritize. You know, when you wake up in the morning, maybe you don't write things down, but you make a list in your head of the things that you need to get done. And the thing that you're thinking the most about, you're putting it up at the top. Number 1 that you have to get done. Everybody's already prioritizing, but you have to think about that when your choices in gaming especially are so vast. I mean, over here, I've got my 3DS. Where I'm sitting, I've got my PC and Steam. And then in another room, I've got my Switch hooked up to the TV. I've got games that I want to play on all 3 of them, but I've got to prioritize. Which ones do I want to play the most? Which ones have I been looking forward to the most? Maybe some of them have different dollar values. You know, maybe I've paid $60 for some games. Thankfully not. Maybe I've paid $30 or $15. So it could be something like that. It doesn't matter how you prioritize, but doing that starts to thin out a lot of games from the bottom of your list. Maybe it's kind of rank ordering your backlog, so to speak. My second tip, and this is building off the first one with prioritizing pretty nicely. This one is all about chipping away at your backlog and narrowing down your choices. I'm going to be using Steam as my example because I've gone through this with my Steam library, which I think I've had my account since 2012, and I've bought way too many games on all of the Steam sales since then. Holiday sales, Halloween sales, whatever they are, right? You guys know if you have a Steam account how often it seems they're throwing discounted games at you. And I've purchased way too many of them. But how do I actually sit down and play them? My tip here is don't have all of them installed. In fact, uninstall a bunch of your games. You probably have more than 20 installed as you're watching this video. My recommendation, this number's a little bit arbitrary, but maybe bring it down to under 10 games or just 10 games that you want to play. And you have to think about which games you want to play the most. Maybe it helps to have a little bit of diversity in the genres. Maybe it even helps to have something multiplayer, but then the rest are single player. Now, if you want to chip away at a backlog, multiplayer games are probably not good for that, but that's another discussion. But look at your library, look at what you have installed, and start to uninstall some titles that you know, well, if I'm comparing game A and game B, I know I'm not going to be playing B before A. You have to make those decisions, right? And narrow down the list, and that way the next time you sit down at your computer and you open Steam, you've got a smaller selection of games to choose from. You will be more inclined to double-click one of those titles and launch the game. My third tip, and this is one for everybody, no matter what you do. You want to practice cooking. You want to practice music. You want to read. You want to learn something. It doesn't matter. But here we are, we're playing games, and we have free time. And instead of going on YouTube, or instead of paying attention to your phone, instead of paying attention to social media, or whatever it is that distracts you a lot, leave those distractions aside. I get the most gaming done when I leave my phone charging on my night table over there, and I go to the other room, and I just turn on my Switch and my TV, and that's it. I don't let people talk to me. I don't have the temptation in front of me. I don't have a little device that I can open YouTube on. It's just me and my game, and that's it. And my dog, obviously. I feel like with this third point, it often is enough for you to just leave your phone in another room or just to turn your phone off, because so many people now have everything installed on their phone. It's basically a second computer, and it carries everybody around with you. Not everything, everybody with you. Get rid of people, get rid of anything social, and you will be able to play some games in peace. So to summarize, here are the 3 tips again. Number 1, prioritize. Figure out what you want to do, what you want to play. What console is it going to be on? What room, what TV, whatever. Just get that planning done and prioritize. Tip number 2, uninstall excess games. Narrow down your selection. If you're dealing with physical games, maybe you bought 10 games on the Switch and you've only had time to play 2 of them. Figure something out that's either a release date or whatever. Incorporate a little bit of that prioritization. Maybe you want to catch up to what everyone else is talking about, so you're going to play the newest game first. I just thought of this one. Maybe if it's physical games on the Switch, put that game cartridge in for the one that you want to play next. Have it ready to go immediately. And then tip number 3 is eliminate all distractions. This is important for digital games, physical games, gaming in general, and your other hobbies. With these 3 tips, guys, I hope you will be able to play more games, and I hope you'll be able to chip away at your backlog, but there's more to it than that. Here's a little bit of food for thought for everybody, and this is where I'd like you guys to jump into the comment section and just talk to me about this kind of stuff. What are your opinions on what I'm about to say? I have been watching a lot of other videos lately where people have talked about backlogs, people have talked about oversaturation, and consumerism's a problem, and there's all these external reasons and external issues for why people can't play their games anymore and why backlogs are growing. Well, first of all, one issue is a backlog really a problem? Everyone's got a backlog of some sort. I feel like that term in general is going to start wearing on everybody in the next couple of years because it gets used so much. We all have too many things to do and not enough time, right? That's inevitable. That's life. But yeah, with this point about consumerism and oversaturated markets, look, this isn't a problem. This is a personal problem. This is your problem or my problem, because nobody's telling you what to do or what to buy, how many games you should own, or anything like that. That's why, again, tip number 1 with prioritizing things, it's going to help you figure out what you want to do, and you're going to be a lot more at peace when you can't get to all those other things. Now, as time goes on, the list of things to do, the list of media that exists, it all grows exponentially. In the case of media, there's movies and TV and books and everything, and there are more creators every single year. For game studios, you've got people going indie, and people are making games now as solo projects, and they're actually good enough to want to play. Those are getting added onto your backlog. As you get older, you've got more responsibilities. You're going to be spending more time with family and significant others. You're going to want to be catching up with friends, or maybe you finally just want to shut down everything and do something new, right? Who knows what it is? Here's the thing. There's always going to be too much. My only life advice for you guys, aside from the 3 tips that I gave in this video, is just do something. Don't be idle, right? It's really easy to get caught up in nothingness, and I hope for everybody watching that you don't let that happen to you, because you will be so much happier, backlog or no backlog, if you just start doing the things that you want to do and enjoy them. So thank you everybody for watching. I know Leo wasn't on this video, but maybe you heard him. He's been in the background on my bed eating a lot of treats and one of his new toys. Anyways, thanks again for watching.